What if all of the predictions are wrong? Bitcoin's not going to go to just 200, 250K. It's literally going to go to $1 million this cycle because guess what? The super cycle's here, baby. Super cycle, of course, being just the cycle of cycles where prices just go up nonstop forever because there's just so much bullish shit going on. Well, I want to explore that idea, talk about some of the big things that are happening, and also throw maybe a little bit of cold water on this idea too. So let's just go ahead and get straight into this and start talking about it, because I worry that those kind of pronunciations of like, it's going to go to $1 million or whatever this cycle. I'm in the $1 million Bitcoin club here. Okay. I'm 2030s though. Okay. Not this soon. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'll be happy to be wrong, I guess, in that situation. Just name my yacht. I was wrong, but I held my Bitcoin anyway, so screw it. There you go. So look, Charles Schwab sees Bitcoin hitting $500,000 to $1 million. The government adoption says if you don't have at least 10% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, you're risking falling behind. Big words. Big words, okay? Supercycle's here, baby. All the world's biggest financial institutions are now shilling Bitcoin like crazy. Alex Kruger says, this is from the U.S. Department of Treasury. And by the way, Jerome Powell was talking about Bitcoin the other day, saying, yeah, it's basically digital gold. The U.S. Treasury says this: digital asset market cap remains low relative to other financial and real assets. Whereas a lot of people in crypto, the prices are too high, it's going to crash soon. The PTSD in this market is definitely real, okay? That doesn't mean we're going to $1 million a cycle, but still the PTSD is real. Although I like this one from Alex. He says, do yourself a favor and stop comparing this cycle to prior cycles. Bitcoin is highly likely in a super cycle. And it could be, okay? It could be. We're going to talk about the reasons why it could be and also why it might not be, okay? He says, the crypto industry has just experienced its most dramatic change in history, a fundamentally driven 180-degree turn. The industry went in weeks from a barely legal pariah detested by the state to one of the top industries embraced by the state. Not just the state, of course, but major players like BlackRock. The change is so extreme, it's hard to find comparables in modern times. It's true. It's true. I mean, in case anybody's not fully understanding the gravity of the current situation, we're going to lay that out here for you in a minute, but things are getting real crazy out there. The kind of stuff that we've literally been talking about for years is happening in a very short amount of time. They say, what's that old saying where nothing happens for ages and then everything happens at once? Anyway. Maybe gold in the 1970s is one. The 1970s was a transformative decade for gold. Nixon's ending the gold standard in 1971, dismantling Bretton Woods, sent gold surging from $35 per ounce to $850 in 1981. 10-year mega cycle, right? Expect a major local top around March. Does make sense. I've covered in prior posts. Yes, we've talked many times about the potential for a March, April major local top. Is that 150K? Is that 200K BTC? I don't know. We'll see. But sell in May and go away is so often true. This would be heavily dependent on the slope of ascent, funding rates, broader economy, etc., but one should not equate a major local top with the beginning of the bear market. Interesting. I think really it comes down to, will there be a broader recession? If there's a broader recession that happens in 2025 or in 2026, I don't think Bitcoin's immune to that, okay? He says, maybe we do get such a bear market, anything's possible, but the conditions for it are not there yet. Amen to that. There is no conditions right here for a bear market now and in the next few months. So much is happening that, come on, dog, bear market's not coming this soon. Get the crap out of your ears, guys, come on. He said, it's also too soon to be expecting a top. Bitcoin bull runs always last for many months. It's only been 33 days since Trump unleashed the Kraken. It's true. It's true. I completely agree with basically everything being said there. Maybe we just look at the supercycle comment a little bit more here in a few minutes and the catalyst behind a supercycle and why, of course, a local top is coming and probably a final top at some point, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin's not going to have an incredible 10-year run with all the stuff going on. And that's the thing to remember is that, yeah, there's going to be local tops. Yeah, there's going to be bear markets. None of it really matters that much when you understand Bitcoin and where it's going. If just keep in the game, keep accumulating, stay focused on the long-term picture here, okay? By the way, speaking of, for everybody who's like, but there's a recession coming any second now, everything's going to go to hell. Fourth quarter GDP for USA projected at 3.2%. Tell me how you're going to have a recession when the economy is growing at that kind of rate. I know there's stresses in the economy, but there's also a lot of things that are going really well in the economy. Okay? Hey, if you're a cryptocurrency trader, check out what the guys at BitUnix are doing. So they got crazy deals going on right now. But in case you don't know who BitUnix is, they are a no KYC cryptocurrency exchange. Let you come over here, trade your cryptocurrencies, no KYC, no VPN. So it makes it available for a lot more people out there. And of course, a great option for people wanting a little more privacy with their cryptocurrency trading. Now, here's the deal. You can do a 20% rebate on your deposit. So if you deposit $1,000, you get $200 back. Crazy, right? And if you start putting in some good trading volume, you get up to 100 million Pepe coins deposited into your account. It's free money, okay? So if you want to partake of this deal, it's exclusive using the link down below in the description. So use that link, deposit your money, $1,000 gets you $200 back, for example, and start trading to get your share of that crazy pile of Pepe they're giving away. 100 million Pepe, top prize, that's nuts. Check it out, link down below. Thanks for using that and supporting the channel. So, Bitcoin Archive. This is the thing. When it comes to the Supercycle, you really have to see massive adoption continuing, massive buying and belief and hype around the asset, all that kind of stuff. Well, we're seeing that right now. Microsoft did say no, as we covered the other day in a video, but Microsoft did say no to Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset, which is a massive mistake on Microsoft's part. But what do we expect from Bill Gates' company? Probably got the video demonetized just saying his name. Anyway, Microsoft also said no to internet browsers, mobile phones, smartphones, and social media. Look how that worked out for them. The fact that Microsoft has been so successful, it just keeps falling upwards, essentially. Anyway, besides the point. Just because they said no doesn't mean everyone else is going to say no. Remember, Tesla's already got Bitcoin, okay? There's 60 publicly traded companies in the USA alone, I think, that currently own Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Maybe that's globally, but regardless, some major companies in the USA do own Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Not just MicroStrategy, but Tesla owns Bitcoin, right? Square owns Bitcoin. Other companies too. There's quite a few others. So other big companies will pay attention. And guess what? There are increasing amounts of requests for that to happen. Now, just because Microsoft said no, and they said no now, doesn't mean they're going to not say no. Doesn't mean they're going to have to they might have to say yes in the future. They're not always going to say no. They may just have to play catch up later on. They had a great chance. They blew it. But other companies may not. Amazon, there's a push right now for Amazon to take some of its $80 billion or whatever it's got in cash right now and put some of that into Bitcoin, okay? Think about that. Only 10%. They have $88 billion in cash. Take 10%, put it into Bitcoin. It's not going to be a major thing for them. They're still going to have $80 billion in cash, but now they're going to have $8 billion in Bitcoin. Big. Big. Will they do it? I don't know, but there's a push for it to happen. And you're going to see this push happen for a lot of companies. And at some point, one of them is going to say yes. Meta might do it. Google might, Google, I don't know. Apple might do it. Tim Cook, by the way, he is a cryptocurrency fan, right? I think he owns Bitcoin and Ethereum, if I remember from previous statements. So why not Apple? Apple would be a great candidate. NVIDIA would be a great candidate. Okay, there's lots of companies out there that could add Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And when some of these other big companies do it, it puts a lot more pressure on the other big companies to do it. And you start seeing this move where corporate treasuries start moving billions of dollars into Bitcoin, which creates global FOMO for the other thousands of companies. They're looking around going, holy crap, why don't we have any Bitcoin on our balance sheet? Not enough Bitcoin, guys. It's only 19.5 million or whatever currently mined. I mean, a lot of people with a lot of money want to get a lot of Bitcoin, and it just ain't out there for them. But the real thing beyond corporate adoption, which is very exciting, is country-level FOMO, which is currently happening. And that is partially thanks, of course, to Donald Trump and the proposal to set up a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, what's that strategic Bitcoin reserve look like? Is that just them holding the Bitcoin that the U.S. government has currently and putting it in safe storage somewhere and committing to not selling it and holding it as a reserve asset? Potentially. Does it actually mean they're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin? That's what they've said they're going to do. Will they do it? I don't know. I don't know. I have my doubts that they're actually going to pass that through, but maybe they do. And if they do, Massive. If the United States really goes out and buys 1 million Bitcoin, the implications are insane beyond belief. And yeah, this is like super cycle crazy stuff here, okay? Now, people are going to overestimate the impact of that on day one, and they're going to underestimate the impact of that over a 5-year time period, which is what they said they're going to do. They're going to buy 200,000 Bitcoin a year for 5 years. Maybe it doesn't get finished. Maybe the Democrats get in next time and they stop the buying, and they don't just stop the buying, they sell it because they want to get revenge. And, this is the kind of stuff that happens in politics. Still, though, big. Just the USA having this conversation is big. If they actually keep the Bitcoin they have, it's massive. If they actually buy more Bitcoin, it's big beyond belief, okay? Russia saw this and said, holy crap, we have not been doing anywhere near enough Bitcoin adoption because they've been passing pro-cryptocurrency laws recently. They set up a state mining advisory board sort of thing, whatever. But now they're saying, we're not moving fast enough. The Americans are going to start buying up all the damn Bitcoin. What are we doing? We need to buy Bitcoin. We need to have a state strategic reserve for Bitcoin. And of course, Russia, great candidate for that because they just had hundreds of billions of dollars stolen from them back in 2022 through the banking system. Nobody can steal your Bitcoin. Yeah, just saying, guys. Brazil also talking about it. Look at this. Brazil's Chamber of Deputies has introduced a bill to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve in Brazil. Now, what I've just laid out, 3 of the world's top 10 economies are talking about making a strategic Bitcoin reserve for their countries. How long until India sees this? How long until China sees this? Switzerland and Singapore and France. How can everybody resist? They won't be able to. Okay, and maybe it all doesn't happen this cycle. This is the thing. Maybe it all doesn't happen this cycle. Maybe it all doesn't happen the way you think it's going to happen. Remember and I just want to put this out there. Remember back in 2020, we thought that every corporation in the world was going to start buying Bitcoin because MicroStrategy and Tesla did, and it didn't happen. But now fast forward a few years later, and those conversations are being picked up again, and we will see more corporates on board. And the same thing's probably going to happen with countries where we'll see some countries get on board, not maybe as many as you think, not in the ways that you think, but it's going to start happening. Again, we overestimate short-term and underestimate the long-term impact of all this stuff because everyone wants to get rich tomorrow, and they can't wait 5 years. Come on, guys. Now, of course, we have to talk about Bitcoin ETFs as well because this has been gargantuan beyond belief. This is actually the yearly inflow chart for Bitcoin ETFs. You can just see the amount of money flowing in over the months. And yeah, there's been some times when money's left the Bitcoin ETF market, but you have to look down. It's so much trading. It's crazy. I chose the yearly here because it makes a good point. Currently, we are at $34.3 billion of ETF inflows for the year. The year is not finished. We might even get up to 36, 37 billion by the end of the year. The most successful ETF launch in history was the Bitcoin ETF. $34 billion in inflows already this year. Wildly successful. The demand from Wall Street has been phenomenal. Absolute insanity. And it's going to keep happening, especially as Bitcoin ETFs get added into more passive broad ETFs and stuff like this. People just buying it and holding it for long periods of time. We've seen largely that the guys over at BlackRock, the BlackRock investors who are buying their Bitcoin ETFs through BlackRock, they just buy and hold. Are these people waiting for $1 million Bitcoin before they sell any? Maybe. I don't know what BlackRock's telling their customers when they convince them to go out and buy it. But the pitch must be pretty good, man, because BlackRock is pretty damn diamond-handed. All the BlackRock customers are pretty diamond-handed with their Bitcoin. So, look, the ETF equation is absolutely insane, okay? And it's only going to get crazier. I mean, this is going to be $100 billion in inflows probably by the end of 2025, or maybe 60 or 70, okay? Maybe it's not 100 billion, 60, 70. By the end of the decade, it's probably going to be a few $100 billion in inflows. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. At a time, of course, when the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges has reached its lowest point ever. Well, ever, But for a long, long time, okay, if you go back into 2015 or something, there's probably less Bitcoin on exchange. But you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy what's going on right now. Bitcoin's being sucked up off exchanges, okay? Price keeps going up. What happens to an asset when you have corporations trying to buy it, countries trying to buy it, Wall Street trying to buy it, you and me trying to buy it off exchanges, and there just keeps being less of it around because Bitcoin's scarce. Only 21 million max ever will be. The price goes up. That's what happens. Less Bitcoin available to buy. Miners, I mean, it's insane. The amount of Bitcoin bought this year by Wall Street has dramatically outstripped what miners have produced this year. It's absolutely nuts. Now, just to come back to the throwing a little bit of cold water on things, and we're going to finish up this conversation. You will be told that this is a super cycle. Corrections are not even really possible anymore. There's not going to be any major downturns or bear market or anything like that. Look, I'm still in the local top March, April theory, potential for a final top October, November, okay? It's less certain, I think. Also, a bear market will come. Bear markets always come. Super cycle or not, okay? You could argue gold was in a super cycle from the time its ETF was introduced back here in November 2004 until the major top in 2011. After which it entered a major multi-decade-long corrective period. Absolutely insane. Now, you might argue that Bitcoin's going to go on this 10-year run and that it's going to be just epic beyond belief, and it could. It could. We could see Bitcoin just kind of have no real bear markets per se. It's only going to go down 20, 30%, something like that. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it, okay? There will be another bear market. It'll be brutal. It'll be vicious when it comes, and all these mechanics, all this leverage pushing us up is going to deleverage later and push us back down. How many of these diamond-handed ETF holders are going to hold when it's 50% down? That's where the deleveraging starts to happen, right? Now, this is the gold ETF, and just to remind you, Bitcoin is not immune to the macro scene, which has been proven many, many times. COVID crash, Japanese yen carry trade unwind, all this kind of stuff. Bitcoin's not immune to macro, okay? Very clearly. Look here, 2008 financial crash, gold goes down 33%. Remember, this is a $15, $20 trillion, whatever the heck it is, asset class. It's a big asset class back then. For it to drop 33% was a big damn deal. Bitcoin's only at 2 trillion right now, and we're probably 5 trillion by the top of the cycle. So to see Bitcoin go from 5 trillion back down to 2 trillion or 2.5 trillion in the bear market, 50, 60% drop is not a crazy idea. Okay? Just throwing that out there. So super cycle talk is back already. It's exciting. It's tempting to think that we're going to be in the super cycle that's going to see Bitcoin just go up forever. Nothing goes up forever. But I hope we have an incredible cycle, and 250K is an incredible target for the cycle. That's the thing that gets lost on me with these $1 million Bitcoin predictions and stuff like this. Like, yeah, okay, blah, 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 $1 million Bitcoin, yeah, in the 2030s. But this cycle doesn't need to have, man, 250K is crazy. If we get to 250K, that's a wild cycle. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. Are we in the super cycle or not? Hit me up with your thoughts. Thanks for watching.